I'm Kirby Allison, and I love helping the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes. Join me as we explore the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. Hi, I'm Kirby Allison, and we love to help the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes. In today's Shoeshine Sunday, I'm here with Benjamin Simmonot of Simonnot-Godard. Benjamin, thank you so much for dropping by the office here in Dallas. And Simmonot-Godard is one of the few remaining weavers of pocket squares. We all know printed silk pocket squares, but the technical expertise required to do a woven pocket square is actually quite significant. And for that reason, there's just not many people doing it around anymore. And Benjamin at Simmonot-Godard is widely regarded as kind of the Rolls Royce of woven pocket squares. And so we're excited to have him as a part of the Hanger Project. And more importantly, we're thrilled to kind of have you here with us today for a Shoeshine Sunday. So thanks for joining me.
Yeah, it was, thank you. Thank you for having me today in Dallas. I arrived last night from Toronto, and it was an expecting afternoon. I did not expecting to polish shoes this afternoon, but it's changed. I'm selling handkerchiefs for like 25 years now, and fabrics too, and so it's another experience. So let's go.
Good. So when's the last time you've shined a pair of shoes?
I think it was like two weeks ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Especially
did you shine it yourself, or you had them shined?
No, I'm doing myself. This it's my I'm lucky to enjoy my second Edward Green pair of shoes. So I love to take care of them. Yeah, I had the Dover here, and last time it was about 2 weeks ago. But I'm using I'm not spending so much time.
Good.
You have to teach me.
Yeah, well, we'll do that. So it's a beautiful pair of Edward Green shoes. Beautiful kind of medium, kind of dark brown. So those should shine up really nicely. And you said these are relatively new. These are beautiful shoes. This is a derby with the hand-woven apron. Beautiful shoes. So these will definitely benefit from a little bit of polish. I'm going to be shining a pair of Gazziano and Girling shoes. So we've got, on this table, two shoes representing the best of the Northampton factory-made shoes here. So between Edward Green and Gazziano and Girling, it's really the best of the best whenever it gets to shoes. So great. Well, why don't we?
Well, lucky.
Why don't we get started then? So here's a cotton chamois. So to apply the cream polish, I like to use a cotton chamois. And so just put this on your 2 fingers and then kind of wrap it around and then hold it. And that's probably the best way to apply a cream polish. This is our Saphir Medal d'Or, color number 37. Oh. Yep, so pull it, let's see. So put your hand up, right, like that, and then you'll twist it, like that, and then kind of wrap it. That kind of keeps it taut.
Boy Scout and sailing, I was not very good
with your knots.
The knots.
Yeah. So here's the brown polish. So grab some of that on the dauber. I am going to use my high shine chamois. I'm going to just use waxes today. Yeah, try to get it on the tips of your fingers.
Like this?
Mm-hmm. Yep, perfect.
I don't have too much. No, it's too much.
Less is more. And then just dab it kind of in and around the shoes, and then just really kind of work it into the leather. Just kind of like this. So you've been selling handkerchiefs for, you said, the better part of how many years?
Yeah, so I personally started in 1992 to work for my grandfather. I was studying in London in 91, actually. Mm-hmm. And before leaving Paris, I did a business school in Paris, and then they sent us in London and to have fun and called European Business School, and then Spain and Germany. So I was in Paris, and it was my 3rd year of school. I was like 22 years old, and the school sent us in London, and my grandfather gave me just a handkerchief case because we have some customer in London, in this famous store, now it's closed, called the White House. Mm-hmm. It was the royal supplier for whole home interiors, linens, tablecloths, napkins, bed cover, ladies' dress, for a lot of things. 51 Bond Street now, it's closed for 15 years. So I was studying in London, and my grandfather gave me. It was exactly 30 years ago.
Wow!
And my grandfather gave me a case, a suitcase with some handkerchiefs. So, sorry, I stopped.
No, please.
And so I was studying in London, and at the same time I visiting customer. I did know nothing about handkerchiefs, and this handkerchiefs case I was just for fun, But I start selling there.
And then how did you? So then how did you transition from that to then doing it full time?
I mean, this was a long way, because then I went to Madrid, and in Madrid I opened new accounts, because we were at that time in 1992. Spain was a great market, like Italy. I opened like 4. It was like 3 stores in 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
3 stores. Denis, Pedro Munoz, and Best. It was the famous store in Madrid. They're still existing. They're still friends. So yes, during my studying, I started to just selling handkerchiefs from my grandfather, and I enjoy it. And I enjoy it. And this one start my blood to it's.
Yeah, and here you are, 30 years later.
Yeah,
still doing it. I mean, one of the things that really amazes me about you, Benjamin, is that you've been doing this yourself, traveling really alone for the last 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
But I've never met someone that has visited more of the finest haberdashers in the world than you.
So now
I mean, you've been everywhere. I mean, you've been to Europe, America, Asia.
So now, so it was 91, 92. So then I bought the business to my uncle in 99 with my wife. My wife's family helped me a lot. Than my whole family. It was very special. Because Simmonot Godard in the late 80s and 90s, it was like the bad things of my family. So the company losing money, nothing was done, no collection, no price list. It was like a whole,
really
very old. And the factory was like a cemetery. So we had to rebuild everything with my wife. And 30 years after, we are in selling. So we still manufacture the Hermes handkerchiefs. We don't change. We still stay the same people, and we are selling 28 countries in the world. America is first market. We're in Japan. We are in Taiwan. We are in Australia. We are in Russia, Canada, Mexico. So my job, since with my wife, is to establish a selective. We have a long history, and we have a great product. It's still woven in France, very fine cotton, 2x200 double ply cotton, and we want it to be only the first. My first strategy is when I started in Madrid to sell. I think this store is for me. This was the best tailor, the best shirting store, shirt stores. Shirt maker stores, and I keep this strategy all over the world. That okay, I'm not selling to this store if I don't like it. And in the long term, it's a little bit conservative, but in the long term, it has been very profitable, because we always kept selective distributions. Expensive product, unique quality, long history. We are 220 years, and never make any sales. So that's why.
Aren't you one of the oldest family-owned French companies?
Oh, I mean, no many. I mean, there is no many left. Yeah, it's like.
Because it has 233 years.
222 years. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah. So we are still, thanks God, we are still in business, but because we never try to follow the trend, we just weave and from our archive design, and we start each product we do are woven from based on our archive
Yeah.
design.
So you have an extensive archive that
Yeah.
dates back. I mean, how far does the archive date back to?
We had from the 19th century until after the 60s. We have 1 year book.
Mm-hmm.
We have one book by year.
Wow.
Unfortunately, my uncle threw away some, but we still have a lot of different old patterns. And our customer is expecting us. Of course, we are in weaving. We are, as you say, we are not in printing business. Many good printers are. Unfortunately, in weaving, we are the last company. Sometimes we feel a little bit alone.
You know, talk to me a little bit about kind of the weaving process, because a lot goes into creating a beautiful woven pocket square. I mean, you know, the quality of the yarns, you know, the way it's woven together, the mercerizing process is very unique.
Yeah.
So for someone that you know doesn't know everything that goes into a fine woven pocket square, because you can find white pocket squares.
If we talk about the process, we start from when we want to produce an handkerchief. Remember that we have to set up a warp. So this is a black warp, and this is a white warp. Sorry.
And the warp is the
all the yarn in that way.
line.
You see my shirt here with the stripe. This is the warp.
So this runs the long length of the.
Yeah, the warp on the machine. It's all c'est le rouleau en fait. It's all the raw yarn.
Mm-hmm.
And before starting the weaving, we need to know if we have all the colors. So if we don't have, for example, we want to make that handkerchiefs, that one here, we need to have this special color yarn, this special color yarn, etc. So until we don't have all that color yarn ready, we cannot really start the production. So it's already like 3-4 weeks to get all the yarn ready. We have to make some tests in laboratory. So once all the yarn are ready, we start to set up the warp. Now the design are done by computer.
And you'll run multiple designs on one warp.
No, one design.
What's one design, multiple colorways?
Yeah. For example, that one here has been, it's a black warp, has been black warp, so black and green. This is black and red, and then we have black and blue. So all on the warp, you have all the yarn lines which are black, and the weft is the navette, which is going. So now it's all done in modern. And now in the past, the weaving was like. Now it's even faster. So the yarn is much more aggressive. It's like this. We don't have anymore we have like in a museum, but the whole loom, it was much more, how we can say, respectful to the yarn.
Okay.
And for the fabrics was much better. But anyway, that's the modern life. Everything has to be fast. And then when the fabrics is ready, it's finished. The weaving is ready. We send them to the treatment, because
This is the mercerizing.
yeah. So you have fire process, washing, cleaning, drying, mercerizing, which is very important, because once the handkerchiefs the fabric is woven, you need to. It's like jeans, you know. It's like la toile. It's like
Stiff and.
yeah. So you need to
Like raw
layer.
denim.
You need to make the what we call the treatment in French, l'après. In Italian, it's apretto, c'è l'apretto, finissaggio, and the finishing in maybe. So this process, you can weave any kind of fabrics. If you don't have that treatment process, there is no value. It's nothing. It's like like a kitchen cloth.
One of the things that I think is really fascinating about your company is that, again, you've been in business for such a long time. I mean, not only are you, reinterpreting these archival patterns, dipping into your archive and finding, incredible things and then remaking them, but, you actually have been able to, discover vintage woven pocket squares like the fil de bouche that we sell,
Yeah.
that couldn't even be made today.
Yes, we are.
And you've got some new examples to show us that hopefully you'll talk about.
We are collecting when we can. We in the north of France, you have a lot of old factory, unfortunately closed, probably in the 19th century until the 60s, 70s.
Let me see.
The north of France factory was a home worker. And we recently have been very lucky because we went in TV 2 years ago, and one old lady contacting me and said, we have some very old fabrics. I know you are doing handkerchiefs, it could interest you. So I've been and I found so many handkerchiefs woven in the 70s, 18s that we need to refresh a little bit.
But these are pocket squares that, you know, instead of being woven on a large industrialized loom, you know, like what you were speaking about earlier. I mean, these are pocket squares that were still woven, you know, on a wooden loom. In someone's house where maybe he was producing a meter an hour.
Yeah, exactly. So now this kind of old stock we are always looking for are unique pieces, and they are not. They cannot. It's impossible to make again. The result cannot be the same. So we don't have that people again. We don't have anymore that people. We don't have anymore the machine. We don't have more that yarn. And if we have this, the conditions, they were not the same. So.
And you had to do it in the cellar because of the humidity.
You
know, to soften the yarn so that it wouldn't break. Right. And then, so what do you see? I mean, so you see a pocket square like this that's been woven, you know, almost 50 years ago, right? I mean, easily. And you can, I mean, how would
40 years ago, maybe.
And you compare that to something that, you know, you're weaving today. I mean, how would you describe the difference? I mean, there's a clear, discernible difference whenever you put it in your hand and touch it and see it. You know, but to someone that, you know, wouldn't think of spending $75 on a pocket square, or the fil de bouche, which is a true masterpiece, I mean, that's a $400 pocket square. I mean, you know, not only would, you know, some people can't even afford it, and many that can probably wouldn't, because they would never believe there's a difference.
There are more, the famous fil de bouche, you know, fil de main, linen, white, super fine. They are very, very expensive because, for all the reasons I told you, you can't make again. So it's like, there is no really price, there is no really market on this. It's just like maybe an old Ferrari has been produced like 100 years ago. I mean, you cannot.
No, absolutely.
So,
I mean, you know, we say it's a piece of French textile history.
Typically the fil de bouche that Kirby and the Hunger Project is selling on his website at $400. I mean, even $400, maybe it's not the right price, because it's impossible to make again. It's completely impossible to make again. For all the reasons I told you, yarn reason, machine reason, conditions reason, and workforce reason. So this is absolutely unique. And once I will have sold all of that wine very super fine linen, this will be over.
And I think we're down to the last two styles, right? I mean, there's, you know, we've got the R3 and the R5, I believe.
Yeah, but more are coming.
Okay.
Because we have been recently been very lucky to find old stock. From we have been very, very lucky with some old lady contacting us and
so those will be, so that's the fil de mar, the fil de bouche.
Yeah. So this we are going to, now we need to refresh them because they were in stocking in an old factory, completely destroyed for 40 years, and so they're a little bit humid, but we are going to make them great again. So yeah, we have been very lucky. And sometimes you need to be lucky. Yeah. We live in a modern, we live in 2018 or 2019, sorry, we have to use what we can, what we have. So it can be all vintage handkerchiefs, pocket handkerchiefs, or it can be new ones, which are much more regular look. It has to be a luxury product. It has to be, and it is a luxury product because of the process we do, the time we take. If you want to speed up, you less quality. If you want to change, you less quality. If you want to, so you have to be conservative, but also sellable. So our customers now are more 25 to 55. We are more our customers are more a little bit more younger now.
Well,
we don't have anymore the 70. With all the respect I have with older people, but my customer is more 25 to 50 now.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, a pocket square, I mean, especially with the move towards, really the casualization. I mean, more people aren't wearing ties.
Yeah.
So if you're wearing a jacket but not wearing a tie, you should at least be wearing a pocket square.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? How are your hands? Don't use any of your.
Yeah,
So I'm almost done with these.
So thank you, Kirby, for this. We can say shoe party, unexpected.
Yeah, there we go. We'll be ready for dinner.
Shoe party in Dallas, 12th of March, 19. And so please visit Hunger Project. They have a lovely product.
Well, you're also on Instagram, right? So
you can only. Kirby is so passionate about quality and made in. It can be made in USA, made in Canada, made in Italy, made in France. That on his website you will only find, special things that you cannot find everywhere. And concerning Simmonot Godard handkerchiefs, Kirby is carrying. We dedicate him more to the vintage one. So the handkerchief you are going to order in Kirby Allison, in the Hunger Project website, you cannot really find at, maybe like Berger Gunman or Isetan Tokyo or whatever, Harrows in Canada. It's
those pocket squares with the story,
Yeah. So Kirby, we decided to specialize when we met more like
5 years ago,
8 years ago. Yeah. We can say around
8. Yes, that's right, 2011.
Yeah, and we say normally we don't allow customer who does not have stores to sell our product. We are a little bit conservative with this, but Kirby's approach has been so different than others. First, because Kirby is a very educated guy. And we love sharing this, and so we say, why not concentrating? You don't have a retail store, so we say with Jason, my wife, we should concentrate with the Hunger Project, selling handkerchiefs that are vintage one. So it's doing very well. So if you visit the website, you can enjoy and reasonable price. Pricely, I always think that our product could be sell like $120, $125 US, something like that. But for all that work, I think like $65 to $75, $80. It's for the cashmere. It's very reasonable. So go online and enjoy.
Yeah. Well, we were the first online, retailer.
Yeah, because we don't accept online stores if they don't have. We don't accept online business if there is no store physically. I'm talking physically. So apologize for the guy who are insisting, but if in the near future we decide to have more online business, it will only be with particular product.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your trust, and we love Simmonot-Godard and your beautiful pocket squares.
I had to come to Dallas for getting such amazing
Yes,
shows.
Look at that. You'll slide right through security.
How can I thank you, Kirby? Because sincerely, you are the master also for the polishing shoes.
We're both ready for dinner tonight, so we'll go out and maybe have some Mexican food,
Yeah.
Well, Benjamin, hey, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, and I appreciate the shoe party.
Yeah, thank you for your passion and for continuing to make the finest woven pocket squares in the world.
Always try.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah.